It is TGIF, and here to help us plan our weekend entertainment is Chris Bumbray of JoBlo.com. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Caroline.
So it's Valentine's Day weekend, and there's a new film in town that is the ultimate date movie, Wuthering Heights. Let's take a look.
What should you do, Heathcliff, if you were rich?
Suppose I'd do what all rich men do.
Okay, so we see Margot Robbie there and Jacob Elordi. That in itself is the worth of the price of a ticket. But what is this version of the classic like?
Yeah, talk about two good-looking actors, right? Yeah, so it's a big departure kind of from the novel, because what they do is they actually drop the second half of the book. They really only do the first half, and it's a very, very liberal adaptation. But, you know, that's Emerald Fennell, the director. She's done Promising Young Woman, Saltburn. She always makes these movies that are kind of off the wall, and I think she kind of tried to reinvent the period epic with this one. And I have to say, it's a very entertaining movie. I'm not usually one for these kind of drawing room films, but, you know, she emphasized the romance, the steaminess of it, and I think Margot Robbie's terrific in the movie. The one I wasn't completely sold on, even though, you know, I know that he's quite popular, is Jacob Elordi, because for me, even though he's a good-looking guy, I found he wasn't really able to evoke the darkness of Heathcliff, who's his classic kind of Byronic hero. But hey, that was just me. The audience that I saw it with, people were crying in the theater. Everybody seemed to love it. So there you go, a great one for Valentine's Day.
It looks beautiful just to watch it visually. But speaking of dark, if people are less date inclined, you've got a dark film out with Chris Hemsworth, Halle Berry, and I believe it's also with, I forget the other actor's name there.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark, yes.
So if you don't have a date this weekend and you want to go see a really kind of cool crime movie, and even if you do have a date and you want something a little bit edgier, I highly recommend Crime 101. So this stars Chris Hemsworth as kind of a jewel thief who robs people along the Los Angeles freeways. Mark Ruffalo is a cop who's trying to track him down. Halle Berry's an insurance adjuster who gets caught up in one of their scams. And, you know, I love these kinds of movies. One of my favorite movies of all time is Michael Mann's Heat. This movie owes a lot to that. It's based on a novel by one of my favorite crime writers, Don Winslow. And even though it's quite a long movie, it's close to 2.5 hours long, I had an absolute blast with it. I highly recommend this.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good endorsement for that one. Now, tell us about this film, Goat for Kids. Is this greatest of all time, or is there an actual goat in this film?
It's both. It's both. So it's about, you know, that kind of classic saying, the greatest of all time in terms of sports, but it's actually a goat who becomes an amazing basketball player. And funny enough, it's actually based on the life of Steph Curry, although, of course, reimagined as a goat, naturally. It's from the animators behind K-pop Demon Hunters, which was a huge hit earlier this year. And I have to say, family audiences have been kind of underserved the first half of the year, or the first month of the year anyway, with nothing really big coming out for them since Zootopia 2. I think this is going to make a fortune this weekend, and it's a lot of fun. You know, it's a little bit of an edgier style of animation that I think is getting really popular these days.
Yeah, it looks great. And finally, for people who want to get up and get some live music in, there's a band called Ben Valet performing as part of the Tavern Tour. Let's have a listen.
If there's anything you want to say, you can go ahead and say it, baby. Time for talking, nothing more day away.
Okay, I felt like I'm in Nashville there, but this is a local band?
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of bands like this playing at the Tavern Tour, though. They're going down Mont Royal, Saint Denis, Saint Laurent, and they're stopping at all the cool music bars like Rockette and Casa de Popolo. And, you know, it's a great way to support the local bars, which I guess are kind of struggling during the really cold weather that we've had this winter. People just aren't going out as much. And it's a big eclectic mix of bands. It's not all just country or roots kind of music. There's electronic as well. There's everything. So I highly recommend checking it out. And that's actually tonight and tomorrow. And, you know, tonight's a holiday as well, right? Do you know what day it is today, by chance?
Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th, that's right. So if you're out and you see anybody with a hockey mask, make sure to avoid them.
Good Valentine's weekend advice. Thanks so much, Chris. Have a great weekend.
My pleasure, Caroline. Thank you for having me.